when hinges creak in doorless chambers, and strange and frightening sounds echo through the halls. Whenever candlelights flicker where the air is deathly still, that is the time when ghosts are present, practicing their terror with ghoulish delight. Welcome, foolish mortals, to the Welcome Home podcast. I am your host, your ghost host. Kindly step all the way in, please, and make room for everyone. There's no turning back now.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 241 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor. We don't have Damon today.
Yep.
Damon's off doing things.
Doing Damon adventures.
Damon adventures.
Yeah.
I did want to talk, though, before we get into the show a little bit here. So I made a random decision the other day.
Uh-oh.
Well, no, I posted this on Discord. So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. All right.
So I don't know why I thought of this. I just, I think everybody here knows that I'm going to be in Florida the week of Thanksgiving. And my mom lives about an hour and a half from the parks. And so we're going to do that 1 day trip to Disney. And I was thinking to myself, like, okay, well, like, what else can we do? My mom has us like pretty packed that week. She's like got us go at all kinds of places around Florida. So, but then I was like, you know what? I've really always wanted to check out Legoland. And, if those who listen to the show know, I went to Peppa Pig Land, last year. Right. But it was just Peppa Pig Land. We didn't do Legoland proper. Right. And so, I was like, maybe we should do Legoland. And so then I, looked into it a little bit more and I was like, I think I realized that Legoland was like specifically built for like 2 to 12-year-olds, like, that's like all, small kid stuff.
Yeah. It's not, or yeah, you're right. It's targeted very much at kids, not at adult Lego enjoyers.
No, but like, I mean, that's kind of great. I mean, my daughter's 5. Yeah. She's like a perfect age for this. And so I was like, all right. So I said something to my wife about it. She's like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, okay, cool. So now we're going to do that on Black Friday and the day after Thanksgiving, which, it could be busy, but I was laughing about this though, Trevor, because I was looking at crowd calendars, right? And the crowd calendar had like average wait time for like rides, right? Mm-hmm. And that particular day for Legoland was in their red category. But then when I looked at the average wait time, it said average wait time 16 minutes. And I was like, that's what constitutes busy at Legoland. Okay, cool. Like I can handle 16 minutes online.
Yeah. Because I mean, I guess the interesting thought process around that is I get why they're saying red, because it feels like, a lot of people on Black Friday, like you get like that 50-50 where it's like people are out to get the deals. And then there's people that are like, or actually, sorry, it's not 50-50. It's third, I guess. It's third of the people are out doing the store thing. Third of the people are staying at home and not doing anything. That's the boat I'm in, is I don't go anywhere on Black Friday. And then a third of the people are like, hey, people are at the stores. Let's go do something else. Right. Yeah. The thinking is, everyone's going to be at the store. So, go do these other things like Legoland. So I'm curious how your experience is going to actually pan out if they think it's going to be busy. But like you said, if their idea of busy is, you got to wait 15 minutes to get on the ride. Like, busy. Okay. Yeah.
That's a joke. That's if you see that at Disney World, you're like, oh, this is great.
Yeah. That's walk on.
Park's empty. Let's do this. Yeah. So no, I'm pretty pumped actually for it. I've kind of always wanted to go, and like, it looks like so much of the stuff is like very interactive, and like, I think my daughter's going to have a lot of fun with it. And truthfully, I'm a kid at heart. So I think that I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. So I'm pretty excited for it. I think it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, I hope it is. I'll admit, I debated taking my son to Legoland, but the thing is that like my son and my wife do Lego, but I'm not a Lego fan. Like, interesting. At all. Like, I've never cared for like Lego sets. Like I had Lego sets when I was a kid, and I think I put together like 2, and then and they were like small, like not like little cars and stuff like that. And then I just never bothered with it again. Like it just, there's nothing about Lego that clicks with me. And yeah, I feel that's a pun, but whatever.
Were you trying to make a pun, or no?
That one wasn't deliberate. Although
Okay.
on the Discord, I did make a deliberate pun that did not land with anybody, and you ignored it too, which makes me sad.
Oh wait, what was the pun that you made in the Discord that I missed?
I asked you if you had blocked out some time.
I totally missed that. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to keep my dad joke creds.
Yeah, no, you know what? So, that's on me. That's my fault.
But everybody missed it. I was like, I wrote it, and I was waiting for somebody to catch it, and everybody missed it, and I was like,
it wasn't overt enough. That's like
well, you got to be subtle sometimes with
no, I agree.
The jokes, but I guess I also couldn't put the inflection on block either. I should have italicized it or something.
It's really hard sometimes to do subtle jokes like that over the internet, right? Because even this happened to me at work like this week where I was saying something like overly sarcastic in like a group chat, like that I was trying to make it very clear that I was being sarcastic. Mm-hmm. And even then the two people I was talking to were like, wait, what are you talking about? Like, because I was being ridiculous about it. And they just didn't pick up on the sarcasm at all. And that happens sometimes over internet. You just can't get the sarcasm. So, or the dad jokes sometimes.
Yeah, it definitely helps if like I'm lucky that the group I work with, we all speak in memes and stuff. So it's very easy to like be sarcastic and make those kinds of jokes, and people get when you're being sarcastic. So I know what you mean though. It's like you got to be careful about that, because especially in work environments, is you'll say something that you think is sarcastic and somebody in the group takes it literally, and you're like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So so I'm pumped about this. So if anybody's going to be at Legoland on the 24th of November, if you happen to be at Legoland, I will be there. You can find me. I'll be wandering around and
catch Tom in line.
You might catch me at Peppa Pig or something, because we're doing that too. We're doing both since they're right next to each other. So,
oh really?
I mean, listen, I can't. I said to my wife, "Why don't we just do Legoland this time?" And she was like, "Yeah, but you have to literally walk by Peppa Pig Land to get to Legoland." And if our daughter sees it, it's game over.
She's still Peppa Pig's still very much a thing with her.
Yeah, starting to fade out a little bit more, but yeah, it's still there, my friend.
It's hard, right? With my son, it was like for him, it was Cars, which Cars Land was easy because we went to California Adventure and all that. But it was like, and the reason I asked is because with your daughter, what you're gonna find, or at least my experience with my son was, it was like he was like, yeah, I'm into it, and then all of a sudden it was like a switch flips, and then we're like, look, Cars, and he's like, I'm like he just does not care, and it's like, it's frustrating because it's like and especially like this time of year, like Thanksgiving leading up to Christmas, where you're like, oh, we're gonna buy gifts and stuff like that, and it's like,
it's hard,
and like you think, and especially I think my wife mentioned it in the group, and I think Damon did as well. Starting Christmas shopping now, it's like you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to get this for them because they really love this, but then by the time Christmas comes, they're past it, and you're like, what do I do now, right?
Yeah, now I'm stuck with this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we were good.
I was just gonna say, yeah. Hopefully, you get to or I guess it wouldn't be the worst thing, but if you get to Peppa Pig Land and she's just not into it, I mean, that the frustrating thing about that is like, if you paid for admission and all that,
we paid extra,
yeah. So then you're kind of like, if she gets there and she's like, I don't care, it's like, feels like a bit of a waste, right?
Here's the thing, right? So this is 3 weeks from now, basically, right? And we were just at Costco and walking by, we walked by a Peppa Pig thing, and she was like, Daddy, please buy me this Peppa Pig thing. So I think I'm good.
Okay. I think I'm good. All right. Then yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. You should be safe then.
I'm good for the next 3 weeks. No, I mean, my daughter moves on to other things, but she tends to come back, right? So like we haven't watched Peppa Pig in a long time, right? Like, and we haven't watched Paw Patrol in a long time, but if she sees something Paw Patrol, if she sees something Peppa Pig, she's still into it. You know what I mean? Like, we just don't really like watch that show anymore. So
yeah, we're the same way. Like, actually my son was really into like Scooby-Doo and Thomas the Tank Engine. Cause like he had all like the wooden train sets for Thomas. But the funny thing is like Thomas keeps coming back around because it's actually used in memes on the internet. I've seen he sees it from a different view now. But But yeah, it's funny, like you mentioned, like Scooby-Doo or sorry, I mentioned Scooby-Doo, but like, talking about shows that, like you don't watch them forever, but then it's like you put them on and your kids are like, oh yeah, like, yeah, I
remember
like that.
This is great.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just becomes like a thing that, like I said, in our family, it's like, if Scooby-Doo comes on, it's not that we'll like all stop and sit down to watch it, but it's like, oh, cool. Like, we'll pay attention to it. Whereas,
exactly.
Yeah, a lot of other shows kind of get ignored and forgotten. So it's interesting how your kids like latch on to certain IPs and stuff, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. So why don't we get started? We're only going to do, we're going to actually do 2 listener questions, but only because one of them is just something we want to talk about. So, Laura said, would you rather a Skyliner extension to Animal Kingdom or a monorail extension to Hollywood Studios or any other extension of either? I think I've been on record on this show of saying Skyliner everywhere. Just put it as many places as you can. I love the monorail. I really do. But the monorail, you still have to kind of like wait in a long line for sometimes. You're kind of squished with a bunch of other people. It smells like a barnyard. Like, the Skyliner, you get your own, most of the time, you get your own little, capsule. It's peaceful. It's fast. It's constantly moving. So you don't have to wait, for a new train to come by. And it doesn't like fill up, it's constantly letting people off and letting people on. It doesn't like, you don't have to wait for like another train at any point. So for me, I just like the Skyliner. I listen, monorail it's like 1A, 1B, right? Like monorail is 1B, but I put Skyliner. Yeah.
Yeah, Skyliner, it's absolutely, if you're talking exactly just, throughput on it, like the amount of people that it can get through at a time, it is miles above the monorail because there's just not, like there's no way they can run multiple monorail cars at this point to keep the flow of people moving. So like you, I would rather have Skyliner. My other thinking around this too is that she was saying Skyliner extension to Animal Kingdom, so that assumes it would be from like Hollywood Studios to Animal Kingdom,
merge point there,
right? Yeah. So I'm all for that just because it actually connects all 4 of the parks together completely.
It would, yeah.
And for me, like it's not that I hate the buses, but if I have the opportunity to not take the bus, like I would actually, like if me staying at the Poly, I would get on the monorail, ride the monorail to Epcot, walk through Epcot, get on the Skyliner, and then take the Skyliner to, like, I would go to Animal Kingdom that way.
You'd rather go to Animal Kingdom that way than take.
I would go the long way around that way instead of getting on the bus because
That's fair.
I just, I would enjoy that so much more than just having to take the bus. And the funny thing is if they did that, it would take a lot of load off of the bus, right? Like
absolutely.
Because that's really the only piece that's missing in my mind is that connector from Animal Kingdom. So yeah, I mean, the answer is Skyliner extension to Animal Kingdom is the preferred choice. And as much as, having the monorail go further, the aesthetic of the monorail is still very cool. Like it feels, for as old as it is, it feels futuristic.
Still, I agree.
But yeah, the problem is that the monorail just doesn't compare to better forms of transportation, unfortunately. Like it's very novel.
It is.
But I would not, having the monorail go from Epcot to Hollywood Studios, I mean, I just don't feel that would be valuable.
There's a certain elegance to the Skyliner too that I feel like fits with the aesthetic of Hollywood Studios for some reason. You know what I mean? Like when you're walking to Hollywood Studios now, and like you see the Skyliner coming, you're kind of just like, okay, like this kind of feels like it vibes with what's going on here. And
it's also great too because like when you leave Hollywood Studios, or I've done this a couple of times now, where it's like, hey, we want to, we're good for Hollywood Studios. Let's go to Epcot.
Yeah, exactly.
Like like walking out, and it's like, here's the way to Epcot. Like it's not like, okay, I got to get on a bus or I got to, go over to this resort or whatever. It's just, here's the way to Epcot. Like it's just like a straight shot over there, even though it's not a straight shot. Like
it's not, you got to get off and transfer, but still it still feels
complete, right? Like I know what you mean. Is like it feels like it completes Hollywood Studios as
it fits so nicely in there.
As a connecting park, right? Yeah.
Listen, I would love for it to run to Animal Kingdom. We'll see. I mean, maybe they might do it someday. Like, listen, you think about how expensive it probably is for them to run that bus system, right? Between the maintenance on the buses, buying new buses, paying the bus drivers, the gas, all that stuff, right? Whereas the Skyliner, they do maintenance like, on an ongoing basis, but they only do major maintenance like once a year, basically. And they have a limited amount of cast members that run it, and it's much more eco-friendly, runs on electricity, right? I mean, there's no gas, it's just electricity.
Yeah.
Like
people throughput, all that is just, it's just so much better. Yeah.
It's all just better. So
the one thing though, and I know my wife will listen to this at some point, is unfortunately, like for everybody, the Skyliner, like my wife rides it, but she has to keep her eyes closed because of her
just
vertigo.
Like the heights. Yeah. Oh, no, vertigo. Yeah.
It's her vertigo. So she does, it can make her dizzy and all that. So that's unfortunately the only drawback of it, is that if you have any issues with motion sickness, it's not the best mode of transportation. But because of the fact that it is so quick, though, we're not on it long enough where it is a major issue, thankfully.
That's true.
So it's a bit of a trade-off, and I get, the heights thing too, but like for me, like, living where I live, when you go out to the mountains, there's gondolas in multiple places. So it's like this gondola doesn't feel like anything to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's like, it's not that high. I don't know, but
it reminds me, like when they were building this, I remember there were some people in some of the message boards were like, oh, this is never going to work in the Florida weather and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, do you understand that they like operate these kinds of things in some of the most extreme weather conditions in the world? Like Florida is nothing compared to like when where they use these kinds of gondola systems.
You have not felt the wind blowing off the side of a mountain as you're riding a gondola up the side of the mountain.
Exactly. Like
it's fine.
They use, you can literally see this exact same system in, like if you at certain ski slopes. I mean, there's like a couple major companies that make them, and I've literally seen these same gondolas, in videos, at ski slopes and stuff like that. Like they have the exact same ones, so it's not like it's different because it's Disney. They use the one of the major suppliers that do it.
It's an established system. So again, like for parts and sorry, this is the other reason why it wins over the monorail, is that when you talk about maintenance and stuff, like the monorail cars they have now are really old.
Yep. And
there was a plan to upgrade them, but the problem is that they are very expensive and they are difficult to maintain. So so the monorails, it's not as common of a system, which makes it, it's novel, but it's not easy to keep it running, which, that makes it more of a turnoff for Disney. Whereas, like you said, the Skyliner, it's a well-established business, it's used in multiple places. So sourcing parts, all that kind of stuff is not really an issue.
Agreed.
So
we should move on to
the Skyliner keeps winning, but anyway,
Skyliner wins.
All right. Let's talk about Jeremy's.
We were only going to do one question this week, but we really wanted to address this. So go ahead. Do you want to read it?
Yeah, I'll read this. Okay, so Jeremy says, I don't have a side gig as a Disney podcaster, but I presume if I did, I would be looking for all sorts of accounting and tax advantage ways to use my side gig for more discounted vacations and cheaper merch. Maybe that sounds selfish, but it's 100% true for my entrepreneurial spirit. LOL. I'm aware that you guys...
I'm not aware.
I'm not aware that you guys really take any more Disney vacations or get more cheap merch than you always have in your regular lives. So I guess it speaks to the purity of how you like Disney and not just doing the podcast for a side gig job, in brackets, like I do mowing lawns. Makes me a little sad, though, because people who put as much time and effort into the show as you guys should get some extra merch or vacations out of it. I'm not sure if there's a question coming here, but if there is, how come you guys don't use the podcast to get a little extra Disney magic for yourself? As a show fan and an entrepreneur myself, I feel like you guys deserve it for all the time you put into the show. Respect.
I appreciate that, Jeremy.
Thank you, Jeremy. Yeah, we very much appreciate that. Do you want to take this first, or do you want me
to? Yeah, and let's try to keep it fairly short, just because we are going to try to keep these episodes shorter these days, and we do have a fair amount to talk about. So, I think, Jeremy, we started doing this 6 years ago, and it was just for fun, right? Like, we never really thought it was going to do anything. We were going to be happy if we hit a couple hundred listeners, and when we hit that first 100, we were very excited, and we couldn't believe that 100 people were listening to this thing. And I also think there's, so we never really did this for money. So I think we decided a long time ago that even if we got sponsors and even if we got, had Patreon and all that of that, like the majority of that money was going to go back to the listeners, because truthfully, we wouldn't do this if we didn't have listeners, right? Like we do this because we enjoy doing it. It's fun. But at the same time, if nobody's listening to it, then we might as well just be yelling at a cloud, right? Like, Yeah. So for us, like, it's more important for us to do things for the listeners, we talk about the shirts, right? Like, and we talked about this a couple episodes ago. We don't make any money on those shirts. Like, we make some money, but like the art costs money too, right? So like, we lose money on the shirts. We do merch like pins, we do the hats, we do, we also have to keep the lights on too. We have to, hosting and all the other things we do to make the show work. That all costs money. So I will say that we don't prioritize ourselves with any of the money that comes into the show. I also want to say, too, that there's, I think, a misconception that if you have a podcast that's moderately successful, that you can make a whole lot of money doing it, which is not necessarily the case. I'm not saying we don't do all right. We do. But, you're not, it's not a quit your job and make it your career kind of thing.
Yeah, it's enough that the podcast is self-sustaining. It's not that the thing is we I think at the beginning we all put in money for various things to get it started.
Yeah,
but we've like you said, we've hit a point where the podcast, all the costs and everything are kind of taken care of by sponsorship, and obviously we have enough that we can try things like doing shirt designs. We can do hats and giveaways and stuff. So it does. It's like you said, it's not that it's successful in that, we could make this a full-time job, but it's successful enough that we can still enjoy it without having to be financially on the hook for it.
Yeah, exactly. And so we would rather have that money to spend on those things, right? Like, and listen, I'm not going to say that we don't, like, we typically will do like a treat yourself kind of thing. Like, once a year for all three of us, we'll get something that we want. Trevor, you got that poly lamp. Yeah. You got the poly lamp. I got the really expensive Disney Castle Lego set. So yeah, I mean, we do that, right? Like, and but that's like the one thing we do. And we, like I said, we would much rather spend the money on merch and on, the meetup that we did a couple years ago and pins and all that kind of stuff, because we, like I said, we do this for you guys. We do it for ourselves because it's fun, but also like we wouldn't do it if we didn't have listeners that were listening to it. So yeah, I hope that makes sense, Jeremy. But
yeah,
we do. I mean, we do nice stuff for ourselves, and
I guess so I'm going to put this out there as this is my view on this, and I'm not saying this to disagree with you, Jeremy. I'm not saying that your view on this is wrong. My view on using something like the podcast to get extra Disney magic for myself. I interpret Disney magic as, getting extra perks in the park, or trying to use the podcast as a platform to, get myself some sort of VIP treatment. I don't ever want to do that because of the fact that Disney magic is Disney magic for me because of the fact that it's unexpected and I'm not fishing for it.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that, going and asking for stuff is not wrong, but I would never want to walk in and be like, yeah, I do a podcast. So, give me an extra, give me something extra with my meal or something like that. Right. Like I would never want to do that. And I know, I know that's not what you're saying, but for me, it's the podcast is its own thing. And when I go to Disney with the idea of, whatever happens. And that's where I find that the whole, people keep talking about, well, how do you get some extra pixie dust and how you get some extra magic? And for me, it's going without the expectations of getting magic. So if I ever got to a point where I was like, oh, the podcast can get me this, or I can use it for that, I honestly don't think I would want to do it anymore, because that for me, it kind of it taints the whole purpose of the Disney magic. Like I don't want to ever lose that. So
yeah, it's like being on Yelp and walking into a restaurant and be like, excuse me, I'm a Yelp reviewer.
Yeah,
treat me extra.
Exactly. I don't want to ever like accidentally fall into that, like I'm an influencer, right? Like I don't want to be like that kind of person. So
yeah, no, I agree.
So I would never take like something like the podcast and use it as leverage for anything at Disney. Like that, again, that's not who I am. And that's not to say that like doing stuff like that is wrong, because, people do stuff like that all the time. It's just, for me, that's not how I operate.
That being said, if Disney wants to give us a PR, to give us media credentials, I'm not going to say no.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. I'm not going to, I won't say no to things, but I'm also not going to go fishing for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah. So let's really quickly here, because we are trying to keep it in an hour, right? So we got some DVC news, and this actually is kind of making me mad, because I was hoping
you're missing this.
We're missing it, yeah. And I was actually we were trying to get ourselves into Hoop-Dee-Doo while we're there, and we couldn't. It's sold out, and I also kind of lost track of time, and by the time I remembered that I needed to do reservations, it was too late. Yeah, I know, I just been busy. So but anyway, so Fort Wilderness, Hoop-Dee-Doo Revue, they're doing a special DVC member exclusive event called Hoop-Dee Holidays, which is just for Blue Card members, on 2 performances on November 28th and December 12th. DVC members and guests can enjoy an exclusive performance of Hoop-Dee-Doo Musical Revue with it says unique performances promise a member exclusive pre-show along with a special commemorative keepsake. So, I mean, I'm annoyed that I can't make this. I know, this is awesome. What a cool way to do a member event, right?
Totally. Yeah, but like you say, it sucks when you just miss it, right? Like it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Is there any way you could extend your trip by
several weeks?
well, no, because you said you're there.
You're there.
Because you said you're there. You'll be there on the 24th.
Yeah, so I will be leaving. Let's see, the 26th. So yeah, I'm missing it by 2 days.
2 days, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there will be a hurricane and you won't be able to leave, and then.
Well, that's a terrible thing to say.
but then you call into work and go, sorry guys,
hurricane.
You know how it is. You got to stay, and then you can go to.
Well, and I wouldn't even need tickets either for this. That's the nice thing too. I don't need a park
apparently,
ticket,
you have to make a reservation though. So
you do,
so, yeah.
But I wouldn't have to make a park ticket because it's at Fort Wilderness. So no park ticket's needed. So
yeah. Oh yeah, and they say so. Yeah, you can reserve for up to 12 people. Wow,
which is a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. I was actually thinking about in this next topic. Actually, was the Disney DVC is on top of their game this year. They finally have seems like they've gotten it together after all those years of last minute stuff. They have announced the 2024 dates for Moonlight Magic for all of 2024 already. I mean, look at that.
I would say I wouldn't be surprised if they still don't do surprise pop-up stuff in the middle of all this. So okay, yeah. Let's start by Moonlight Magic dates are announced. January 25th in Epcot, January 29th in California Adventure.
Hey, all right, look at that.
Yeah, February 27th in Animal Kingdom, March 1st in Epcot, April 23rd in Animal Kingdom, June 4th at Typhoon Lagoon, July 11th at Typhoon Lagoon, and August 27th at Hollywood Studios, which none of these are Magic Kingdom, which is interesting.
Yeah, they left Magic Kingdom out of the last group. They didn't. I don't think they had any this past year for Magic Kingdom, did they?
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess I wonder if there's just too much going on at Magic Kingdom now.
I think that's what it is. It's just too busy. It's just too busy. Yeah, they can't justify shutting it down.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, but for a free event,
Well, yeah, but there's a paid event. We'll get to that in a bit.
We'll get to that in a bit in our new segment. Yeah. We'll see.
But yeah, the only thing that like you, I'm there in February, which I'm not going to make the Animal Kingdom Moonlight Magic, which I talked about it with my family, and I was like, oh, once again, we're missing Moonlight Magic. But then we did, or it was actually my son that brought the point. He's like, haven't we been like screwed on every Moonlight Magic event that we tried to go to? And I'm like, yes, that's true. Every time we've had one line up, something's happened that's messed it up. And he was like, so it's probably a good thing that we don't have one this trip, because that means the trip will go okay. And I'm like, I guess, but yeah, it's still annoying that we're missing it. But like you said, it's also great that it is far enough out that if you are already planning into, June, July, or even August timeframe, what's coming, right? So
I do feel like, Disney was in like survival mode for a little while there, right? Where like they were understaffed and like they were just kind of like trying to get back in the swing of things, because like, listen, everything Disney does, things take time, right? Change takes time, right? Like they announced the dining plans coming back and the park hopper coming back and the reservations going away. Like they announced all that months and months and months ago, but you notice it's not starting until January 9th, right? Because everything, they understand that everybody plans their vacations very far out. Like most people will plan them many, many months out. And so they give you time to kind of adjust, right? So I appreciate the fact that they're kind of getting back to normal with this stuff, where they're announcing stuff way ahead of time. So you are not, just trying to figure these things out later. And to your point, Trevor, though, I'm going in May next year. So there's not even a date in May. So, So no Moonlight Magic for me.
Yeah, they just skipped May entirely. You're right.
They just skipped May. They're just like, forget it. Yeah. Tom's coming in May. We're not going to do May.
The other thing that just talking about how you were saying, like Disney has been kind of on their heels with this kind of planning and stuff. The other thing to keep in mind is that, so this is a DVC event, and everyone goes, well, it's all Disney, right? Like, Disney can just plan an event when they want to plan an event. The thing is that DVC is a separate entity from Disney proper. And so behind the scenes, there is actually an exchange of money. Like they basically have to like book the parks from the park operations people and say, hey, we want to do these events on these days. And again, it's not that it's like, I mean, again, it's all, on the books, like, exchange of like funds between departments kind of thing. Right. Like,
exactly.
So, for us, it's not that, these events are, or, they're free for us, that, we're like, hey, great. This is a free event or a free park entry. There is a cost associated with it. It's just DVC is absorbing that as part of their operational costs. So we are all technically paying for this stuff as part of our dues and everything, which again, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm saying, it's good that they're taking it, they're using it for things like this and Hoop-Dee-Doo and all that. But yeah, the thing that I try to keep in mind is that, they negotiate this stuff as far ahead as possible. Cause like we had that one that popped up here, like it was
a couple weeks ago that they just did. Yeah.
Yeah. So it seems like, DVC is constantly like trying to find places to fit this in, but they also have to get agreement from the parks that say, yeah, we can do an event this night and whatever. So yeah, obviously I'm wondering what's going on in May that's so like busy that they can't do a Moonlight Magic event. But
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I also tend to think like these last minute ones at the end of the year are them being like, well, we got a little bit of promotional budget left for the end of the year. Like maybe we should just spend it on that. But at the same time, Disney's fiscal year ends in the third quarter. So I don't know I don't know maybe if they run their budgets differently, but yeah, it's just kind of random. It's like, oh, all of a sudden we're going to do this. Maybe they just found room in the budget for it. I don't know. But I mean, anyway,
budget stuff, like we would see it like a couple of months after it was finally decided. Like it wouldn't be like, oh, we did this and then next day they're announcing it. So
exactly.
Yeah, so you're right. It was probably like some year-end budget stuff that came down the pipe as to why we got that last minute one.
Exactly. So listen, it's great that Moonlight Magic, that they've announced these this far ahead of time so people can plan around it. And it's good that they have a California Adventure Day too. You notice Disneyland is missing too. So the two busiest parks are missing, right? Which, makes sense.
Yeah, it does. But yeah. And, I guess I would still rather, If I had to go to any of these, I would go to Epcot.
Yeah, Epcot would be a fun one. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and do our ad.
All right.
All right, the sponsor of this episode is DVC Resale Market. DVC Resale Market, a World of DVC company, is the leader in the DVC resale industry with 13 former Disney Vacation Club guides and 3 former Disney Vacation Club quality assurance managers. If you're thinking of buying DVC, browse the largest selection of DVC resale listings anywhere, with DVC experts on hand 7 days a week to answer your questions. If you're thinking of selling, turn to the friendly professionals at DVC Resale Market, where over 98% of listings sell within 30 days. In 2022, DVC Resale Market helped over 4,400 families join or add on to their memberships. Go to dvcresalemarket.com/welcome home or call 1-844-DVC-PROS. That's 1-844-382-7767. And when you speak to them, be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you, or select us in the drop-down on their website. So just make sure, however you're getting to DVC Resale Market, you mention that you heard about them from us. So, Trevor, I created a new segment without telling you about it.
Yeah, I know. I read it. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, this is what we're doing.
So I'm calling this new segment Rapid Fire News. I need to get like some upbeat, like fun music for the background for us to do this, right? Like I need a music bed for this. So
first of all, we're going to figure out how we're going to do this because
this is just rapid. Okay. So this is like, we've got 3 news items that are things we don't necessarily need to talk in detail about, but we should talk about anyway. So we're going to spend 1 minute each on these, and we're not going to time it, but we're going to go very quickly with them. So first off, new Adventureland Treehouse opening in Disneyland on November 10th, just a couple weeks here. I think we've seen a lot of details about this, and it's exciting that it's reopening. It's been closed for quite a while, I think, right?
It's the new old Adventureland Treehouse opening because they're actually, it says inspired by Swiss Family Robinson. So it's going back to the Swiss Family Robinson theming instead of the Tarzan theming, which it's been for a while now. I like it. It's it feels very much like the one in Florida, but it looks like they've got some new stuff going on. It looks like the rooms are a little more alive, I guess would be the best way to put it.
Oh, so like magical, like maybe magical things happening. I don't know.
Yeah. Or like the rooms are themed like the one room, like the one person's room is like an astronomer. So they've got like all the star mapping stuff in there and everything, which
concept art looks great for this. Yeah. So item 2.
All right.
I love this.
Okay. Yeah. Zootopia opening December 20th, 2023 at Shanghai Disney Resort. Sorry, everyone. I know you were probably excited about that at the start of the sentence, but Zootopia is opening in the Shanghai Resort. It looks good.
It looks awesome.
Yeah.
The shot of the city looks amazing. And then this trackless ride they have looks very cool. I mean, and the animatronics, man.
Yeah. Klauhauser and but these are all like the new animatronics, right?
Yeah, these are the high end ones.
Really good. And the trackless ride. So you're in like one of the police cars, which I'm guessing it would be like, you're probably like chasing Flash or something
probably
on the ride.
Probably. Yeah.
Which I didn't realize how like that, like we talked about Zootopia as a land, how that would work. I kind of hope that this manifests in some way in one of the North American parts.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Sorry, the last thing, the popsicles.
Yes, I was going to bring that up. They're selling the popsicles.
Those are so good.
Those look so cool. They look amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
so no, there's some really cool details in this land. So I think this is going to be really neat. I'm excited to see videos of it opening. So
yeah. Okay, and the last thing is Disney After Hours events return January 2024 at the Walt Disney Resort, which there is a bunch of them. So this is what we were talking about earlier, that instead of, we got Moonlight Magic events, but there is also paid After Hours events, which run from, I think it's 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Yeah. And there's a bunch of different dates for these, I'm not going to read them all off. Prices though start from, they range from $120 or sorry, I'm looking at the DVC prices.
$149.
Yeah. $149 to $175 is the highest one so $149 is Epcot, $179 is Magic Kingdom at the highest prices. So they vary depending on on when you're going. But of course, if you are an annual pass holder or a DVC member, you do get a discount on them. I'm very much for these events. I know that I know it's an extra ticketed event on top of like a regular park ticket, but you can get a lot done from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. if there's not a lot of people in the park.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you're paying like a full day price for one of those tickets, but you're getting as much done, in that short period.
And it's like, it's crazy because like you can, we've done the Magic Kingdom one. We've actually been debating back and forth because we have Epcot, or we can go to both Epcot or Magic Kingdom during our trip. There's dates for both of these. And we've been deciding, would it be better to try and go to Epcot at night, or would it be better to go to Magic Kingdom? The only thing is Magic Kingdom's got way more rides, which for me, it's like if you're going to do those, like the purpose for me is to get as many rides in as possible. But my son argued, he's like, but we could go on Guardians a lot. And I'm like, and I'm like, I don't like.
All right, we failed on this last one. We talked too long about this last one.
I knew this one was going to take a little bit longer, but that's fine. It was the last one.
I could have made it a regular topic instead of a rapid fire. So I need to get like a buzzer sound effect, and then
or like a ding. We need like a
ding.
A little like the hotel.
Like what they have at the front magic desk sound, like a little magical, like you know what I mean?
No, like when you go to a hotel and you hit the bell, the ring bell for service, the ding, 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 ding. We need something like that.
All right. Well, I like it. So I know you're not a cruise guy, Trevor, but we have to talk.
Yeah, okay. You're right. That like I will fully admit this lounge. Oh, okay, so there is a Haunted Mansion lounge coming on the Disney Treasure, and this thing looks amazing.
Looks incredible.
Oh wow.
I'm surprised it took them this long to do this, right? But like, this just looks amazing in every way.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I just want to sit in there. Like I don't like I don't even need a drink or anything. Just let me sit in there, please.
I mean, like they've got it. It's basically like you're sitting in the Haunted Mansion. Like the Haunted Mansion was a real place, and you've gotten out of your ride vehicle and you're hanging out in the lounge in the Haunted Mansion. There's a bar behind the bar. It looks like they've got, ghosts behind the bar. I don't know if the hitchhiking ghosts. Are they? Okay, they are.
Yeah, they are the hitchhiking ghosts in the mirror. Yeah. So, and the furniture all looks like it's right out of the Haunted Mansion. Like
it really does.
There's one chair by the or like off in the corner there in the picture.
Can you sit in that chair? I forget what it's called.
I would assume so. Like that
chair has
like
an actual name. Chair. That chair has an actual name from the ride, and I don't remember what it is off the top of my head.
Just looks like a high back chair. Why do I not know the name of that chair?
It has a name. Oh, it's the face chair. It's the face chair. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because it has Donald Duck's face in it.
Yes.
I mean, it's unofficially known as the face chair, right? Like, so it's yes. If you've never seen that before, and if you're going to the Haunted Mansion, look at that red kind of like what kind of, it's just a chair. It's a it's one of those like little detail things that, and like this is this whole lounge is that. Like it's all those like little details that, if you've been on the Haunted Mansion enough, you look beyond like, there's the obvious ghosts and stuff, but there's a ton of just like cool design and decor and stuff like that. I'm looking at these pictures. And again, this is the problem now is I keep looking at these photos of this lounge and I want to go. And I just noticed that like, I totally blanked on this before, but the fireplace is green, like the fire is green coming out of the fireplace, which is like, it's just so cool. Well, and I'm hopeful too that there's going to be like effects in this, almost like Trader Sam's kind of thing. Yeah. So like, I'm hopeful that that's what it's going to be like too. I feel like I need to go in the Treasure because the Treasure is the one that has all of the theme park themed rooms. This is the one that has the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea room. It has the Jungle Cruise room. Like I need to go on this ship just for all of that.
This boat's going to be popular.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be crazy popular. Like, I mean, and even these drinks, I mean, the merch too. I want this clock. That glows green. Like, I mean, the music box. Oh my, I want all of this merch. Give me all of the things here. Like,
I have a place for that clock. Like I know exactly where I would put it.
well, and these are going to be cruise exclusive too, so you won't even be able to buy them outside the cruise.
Well,
which is
not unless you go on eBay. I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure they'll show up. But
there's always the secondary market, right?
Yeah.
So, but man, this bar looks cool. I mean, they really knocked it out of the park with this one. I'm excited to see more details about it. Like I said, I fully anticipate that there's going to be special effects in here. I feel like the lights are probably going to dim randomly. You know, I'm sure there's paintings that are going to be moving. I'm sure the hitchhiking ghosts will do stuff. Like, you know, this is not just going to be like you're hanging out in the Haunted Mansion. You're going to really feel like you're in a lounge in the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah. And did you read up on any of these drinks yet?
Yeah, the drinks are cool too, man. Like they're like really killing it with all of this.
so the last one actually got me. I didn't realize what it was at first.
Yeah,
but it's their signature beverage, which it says topped with a lemon salt foam. This tequila based cocktail. I'm sure you could probably get non-alcoholic version if you ask for it. But will contain a secret message only to be revealed by a black light. So they're putting something on it that you don't see it until a black light. So
you get it to your seat and a black light comes by? I mean, how does that work?
I mean, I feel like this is like, you know, we were just talking about like effects and stuff. I feel like this is something where like, you know, they bring it out and then it, you know, the lights dim or the lights change. And then you see this, the logo floating on the foam of your drink, which is, that's super cool.
I need to get on the Disney Treasure now, man. Like I'm not even joking about this. Like for real, we are going on a cruise in 2025 with the whole family, and I feel like I need to convince them now that we need to go on the Treasure.
Sounds like you're doing a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, yep.
at Christmas, you're gonna sit everybody down and present your case.
Yeah. I'm watching the video. By the way, did you watch the video?
I did, yeah. It looks good.
So you can see some of the effects that they're going to do in the video.
Yeah, that's where I saw the you can see the hitchhiking ghosts in the mirror.
Yeah. Wow, that was really loud in my ears as I was trying to talk to you.
I started hitting play on it and it started blasting my ear as well.
Yeah, that was really loud.
Thanks Disney Parks blog for cranking your videos all the way up to 100.
Listen, worth it, my friend, worth it. Because that's, I mean, seriously, I know they're going to pull this off, but it just looks absolutely incredible. And I cannot wait to see this in person at some point.
You know, the whole thing around this, like you know, we're seeing all this stuff show up on like the Treasure. You know, it's just looking like an amazing ship. I have to wonder how much of it you're going to see come back into the parks.
What do you mean by that?
well, because I mean, this is like next level, right? Like this
so you mean like, will they make a Haunted Mansion bar that looks like that? They could make a standalone Haunted Mansion bar that looks like that.
Yeah, well, not necessarily just like Haunted Mansion, but in general, like you know, like Trader Sam's and like these like environments where you're far more immersed in it than it's just like, oh, you know, I'm going and sitting in a bar or whatever. Like,
yeah.
I have to wonder if, or you know, going back to we've talked previously about, you know, Disney is investing a bunch of money into the parks over the next 10 years. I hope it's this kind of stuff. Like, it's not just like, hey, here's, you know, new big ride. I also want to see them do like, you know, take something like the Haunted Mansion and make a different experience out of it. You know, make a bar, make a restaurant. Like I would love to see a restaurant in the same kind of,
especially vibe, if you have the waiters have like the attitude that some of the cast members have. I say some of them because you don't always get the cast members like doing it up, but then occasionally you do get some. Like, yeah. Yeah, you get some cast members that are into it and some that aren't. Like, but I wish all the cast members were into it, honestly. Because if I worked at the Haunted Mansion, I would be so into it. You know?
Oh, totally.
Yeah, but
messing with people is fun. But
yeah, exactly. I mean, they did announce the Pirates of the Caribbean bar that they're going to build, right?
Yes.
So
that's true. Yeah.
So they kind of are doing that, right? Like they're doing a Pirates bar, and we don't know what that's going to look like yet. We've seen one, you know, piece of concept art. Yeah, but so
this bar is setting the bar really high. That was not intentional when I started saying it, but I realized. Dad joke.
Yep, it's there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's let's go on. Okay, you got a rumor on here.
We haven't done a rumor in a little while, and I will give credit to give credit to Becky. I had Becky in my head, and I said Becky and credit in one word. So credit to Becky for sharing this in the Discord, and this is we'll give this to wdwmagic.com is where we're getting this from. And again, this is a rumor. We just like to talk about rumors sometimes. So may happen, may not happen. I feel like I remember this being rumored before, but we're back here again. So according to sources from WDW Magic, new features will be added to the WDW dining system, which will include the ability to search a date range for your reservations and also availability notifications for fully booked restaurants. So a lot of us now will pay for services, and there's a couple free services that will do the availability notifications. Disney's looking like in 2024 that they, or before the end of the year, they're actually saying this is expected before the end of the year, may roll out the notification, functionality as well. And I love, by the way, I love this whole thing of the date range one, because you could really use that to like figure out what days you want to do what, dining, right? Like now it takes so much time because you're like, okay, well, we want to do this on this date. And then you have to search, for each day what you want to do. Whereas now this will be like, this restaurant is available on these days in your trip during the time that you want. Like that's awesome if they do that. Yeah.
So, and that's, I know exactly what you mean. Cause it's like, hey, we'll be in Epcot on like Tuesday and Thursday. So, I don't care which day I go, but like you said, previously it's like you have to look at Tuesday, but then they don't show you everything, even like on the current search. Like it shows you like a couple of times, and it was always that thing where you had to keep refreshing it to actually get more times, right? So it looks like you'll be able to put in like, hey, between Tuesday and Thursday, show me all the available times, and you'll be able to get an actual better picture of what's there. And I think that will make for far more spontaneous booking.
Agreed. Yeah.
Because you won't have to people will do day of bookings, but it'll also be like, hey, I can book 2 days out and not, instead of booking 60 days out. Right. And
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely a great thing. The notification thing is huge as well. Like you said, I know a lot of third parties do it, but this will be way faster than any third party because it'll be coming from Disney as the notification comes available. Again, assuming that they implement it right, because there is potential to mess up, or these like systems don't always work the way you think they should, and it may not.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, depending on how they do it, because I guess depending on how quickly they're polling for availability, the third party sites still may actually get the notifications faster. But we'll have to see when this, I say when, if this comes to pass here, in the next couple of months.
Yeah, I guess my question is, right, like, it's one thing for third parties to do it, right? But, like, for Disney to actually do this, I mean, first of all, those third party companies are going to go bye-bye, right? Like, that's, like, they're going to eliminate a lot of those, because all of a sudden now it's like, why would I pay, $25 for touring plans when I can just get it for free from Disney? But I guess my question is, how are they going to do this, right? Because at any given time, I'm sure there are hundreds of people looking for the same time at the same restaurant, right? So if they put out an alert to 500 people at the same time, how's that going to work? Like, that's going to be tough. Because so what I'm wondering to myself is there some sort of algorithm that they're going to be, having here where they're prioritizing how quickly people get these? Meaning, does a DVC member get prioritized over a regular guest? Does an annual pass holder get prioritized over an annual regular guest? Does someone staying on property get prioritized? Or are they just going to be like, all 500 people are on the list, we'll just notify them all at once, and then everybody's just going to crush the website all at once? And because they're not booking this for you, mind you, they're just sending alerts, so you still have to get in there as quickly as you can. And so, like, to me, if they're going to alert everybody at the exact same time, it's not going to be that useful, because unless you are lightning fast, you're probably not going to get it, right?
I feel like it'll be first in, first out.
You think so? Yeah.
Because they'll have, when people people request an alert, there'll be a timestamp on when they requested it, right? So
sure.
So they can do it like it'll. I would think it. Again, this is just me and how I would do it. Is queue it up based on when people made their request. So oldest requests get filled first, but then give people a window. So if you get a notification, it waits even 5 to 10 minutes or whatever before it notifies the next person. Because realistically, you don't have to notify all 500 people. Probably within the first 10 to 15 people, somebody's going to grab it, right? So in my mind, what I feel, again, based on how everything else seems to operate at Disney, is that the biggest, or if you're looking for a dining reservation, it still would be in your best interest to try and get that reservation as far out as possible, because I feel like you would stand a better chance of getting the notification faster. And I mean, the thing is that it's also like, or if it's anything like Fast Passes, like it changes quickly, right?
It does,
like if you've ever looked, or in the old Fast Pass system, if you're refreshing, you would see different times pop up, and people were always changing stuff. So like the whole thing about like, 500 people, how are people going to get it? I feel like there's going to be so many people, potentially canceling, changing, whatnot, that for those 500 people, you're going to get a section of people that are not going to get what they want. But if you're at least paying enough attention to the system to, acknowledge those alerts, you'll probably be able to use it to your advantage. Or that would be my take on it.
I'm going to say a Damon thing right now. Since Damon's not here, I got to do a Damon thing. They should charge for this. And I would pay.
Okay.
I would gladly pay for this as an upcharge. Because you're thinking
reservation lightning lane.
Yeah. No, I not even lightning lane, just the actual, because I mean, listen, I have paid for it already, right? Like I pay for touring plans just to do that most of the time, right? Like it's that and crowd calendars, and that's it, right? And that's $25. I would pay for my entire trip. I would pay a fair amount to get this capability, right? Like I'd pay even more if you automatically booked it for me. Like just do that, right? But like I'm just saying, like I feel like this is an upcharge opportunity for them. And I think people would be willing to pay it, honestly, because it really does take a lot out of planning for you, and it makes it a little bit easier. So you're not, because I don't know about you, Trevor, like when I'm trying to find that reservation, I'm just sitting there hitting refresh all day most days. Like, it's, I'm just trying to get it. And like, there's something to that. Like there's something about the hunt for that's fun. But at the same time, it's like, I would love to have it easier. I'd love to have it much, much easier, and just have it alert me when it's ready to go. And then I can, I can do it then. And, part of the reason why I think it's going to be better too than the third parties is that, Disney's got the best information, right? Like they've got the reservation system. Like those other third parties, literally all they are doing is checking Disney's website and then alerting you. So there's always going to be like a little delay, right? Like there's no like, it can't be instant right when that becomes available. I mean, theoretically, Disney can be instant. If somebody cancels a reservation, they can immediately, seconds later, alert everybody that reservation is now available if they want to, Yeah,
if they want to tax their system.
If they want to do that. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if they will do that, but theoretically they could. I mean, they nobody has better information than Disney has, right? Because it's their systems. So...
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, yeah. Again, this is all a rumor. So, we'll have to, we'll see if something actually gets announced here in the next little bit. But I guess, yeah, like you, I don't know if I would pay for it, but I think having the option to, have less people fighting for reservations is probably not a bad thing. Because that's what that would do, right?
If you'd reduce the amount of people, it's essentially what they did with Genie Plus, right? They reduced the pool of people using it, right, by making people pay. It's the same thing. You would reduce the pool of people using the availability alerts by making people pay for it.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, this rumor actually pans out. Because at the very least, even if they don't do the date range search, I would like the notification thing would be great. Like that,
it would be amazing.
It feels like something that it has been sorely missing from the My Disney Experience app.
I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. It's one of those things. It's like, third parties came and filled in the gap, but Disney really should have been doing it. Listen, it's probably not the easiest thing for them to implement. It's probably a lot more work than you think it is, but it's not that you, Trevor. I just mean everyone out there. But anyway. So I did put a food thing on here. I have to say, Trevor, I think we won the food poll that is on the group, because I know it said it was 37 people said yes, but 17 people said I like the food, but less of it. Right. So to me, that's a win. that's a win.
I think that's fair.
All right. But listen, to everybody's point, we'll talk about there's the new Palm Breeze bar is opening at the Villas at Disneyland Hotel. So Trevor, let's just pick one dish that we see on here that sticks out to us that we want to eat. And I'm going to do this not to annoy you, Trevor, but because it looks delicious. The cheese fry poutine.
I knew you were going to say that.
I knew you knew I was going to I mean, look how delicious it looks. It's not poutine, right? It's really not poutine in any way, shape, or form. Yeah. With demi-glace, cheese sauce, chive sour cream, and pimento. I mean, and I don't know what else is going on in there either, but it looks delicious. I want to eat it.
Yeah, that's very busy. But yeah, it seems, or they have it under the shareables. So
they do. Yes.
This is something that, because it's a bar, obviously, this feels like something, you get for the whole table, and everybody just eats cheese fried poutine. Those almost, I thought those were or if I'm looking at the right picture, I thought those were potato barrels on it at first, but I guess that's.
I can't figure out what they are. They don't list them in the ingredient list, but there's something. Maybe it's fried cheese curds. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. But put that in the description.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your one item then that you're going to pull out of this one?
The beignets.
Oh, wow. Okay. Beignets.
Yeah. I like beignets. I mean, just
I do too.
They're basically just deep fried donuts.
Yeah, that's all they are. Yeah,
but they're good. And especially anyone who's had Disney or. It's not that Disney makes the best beignets, but when you're in Disney and you have a beignet in New Orleans, it's just chef's kiss, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
if you've been there,
yeah, well, I mean, that's people will say that about Port Orleans at Disney World, right? Where you can
it's same kind very much same kind of vibe. So yeah, I would the fact that they offer beignets at the DVC resort, that this to me feels like for the same thing when I'm at the Poly where I just walk down and grab a Dole Whip at Pineapple and I. This would be I'm up in my room and it's oh, I want a snack. Let's go get beignets.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I get that. That makes sense. Yeah. All right, let's wrap this thing up, Trevor. Look at that.
Okay, cool. All right. Wow. And actually we kept it pretty close to an hour.
Yeah, we're close. That
worked out pretty good.
We're getting better. We're going to get better at this.
Yeah, we're trying new things. So, be patient with us. We have to change it up because it keeps it interesting. So,
yeah.
All right. So to start, if you guys have any questions or any, you want to share your own trip report, stuff like that, you can always find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from you guys because, we, like we said at the beginning of the show, we do this because we enjoy it. And, we're not doing this to try and make it into a business. It's just, something we do for fun. So, if you guys want to share in that, please reach out to us. And if you want to find us on social media, you can always find us on Facebook as Welcome Home Podcast, YouTube as Welcome Home Podcast, and Instagram as Welcome Home Pics. If you're on Facebook, check out our group Welcome Home Disney Waitlist, where we talk with our listeners all the time. We get our questions from there. We get great memes posted in there and polls about things like, should we talk about food? Which, obviously, yes, we should. So yeah, if you want to be part of the conversation, please come join us because I think we have one of the best Facebook groups out there for Disney talk without all the extra drama and whatnot. We keep it pretty chill and lighthearted in there. So, come check it out. And if you want to help support the show, you can go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com and check out the different shirts that we have. We have the golden birthday button up on there, which will be available until December. We have the new logo, which I really like. I'm excited that we've got new hats with the logo, which are not on the store, but those are for giveaways. So, as we get going with, going back to the parks and stuff, you're going to see that logo more and more. But if you want to get your own shirt or, fanny pack or anything else, check it out in the store. And if you or if you want to support the show another way, you can go to patreon.com/welcomehomepod and check out our different levels of Patreon support, which have their own exclusive logo that is not available on the store. And also, if you support us through Patreon, it gets you access to the Discord server, which we've talked about a bit throughout the show here. We have a lot of great conversations with our listeners on there. It's just another place that we love talking with you guys. And our Patreon supporters also get a 15% discount in the store, which, if you're looking for some merch in the store, giving a little bit of support in Patreon can actually work to your benefit to get you a better discount in the store. So make sure you check that out if you guys are looking for any merch for your next trip down to the parks.
Yeah, if you're looking to buy your Team Dan shirt or your hashtag Team Food shirt, which I don't think Damon has made because, but
he won't make a Team Food shirt.
He's not going to make a Team Food shirt. No,
I think you might have to go in there and make a Team Food shirt. Let's just not tell Damon that we did it.
Yeah, if you're not in the group, by the way, so the whole food conversation last week led to a really funny poll in the group during the week that I was just every time I looked at it, I was laughing because there were just so many funny things going on in that poll. So you can vote for whether you want us to keep talking about food or you like food but less of it, or if you don't want food at all and that you're just a Damon stan over here and you're with Damon on this. So I mean, you could do any of those, but I usually I have not spent as much time lately on the Facebook page as I wanted to, and just the group was making me laugh really hard over that poll. So
it was I didn't even realize it was there because, like you, I can't check Facebook all the time, but all of a sudden I was like, oh, what's this? And then I realized that there was like this whole discussion going on with the food, which like you, I thought it was hilarious.
It was great. We don't have any reviews this week.
Okay.
Did you do your whole review spiel already? I did.
I didn't, but I'll just mention it real quick. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, leave us a 5-star review so that the internet, whatever the gods of the internet can help the show find new people. Because I guess that's how algorithms work. I don't know. It's internet magic, but
internet magic. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
So we haven't got any reviews this week, but I do want to shout out a couple people that have emailed us in the mailbox. Right. So I want to say hi to Mike, coming from us from England. Mike just got back from his Disney holiday, and I guess when he was coming back, he happened to catch the video of the Magic Band reader that we have on our YouTube page and immediately decided he wanted one. So I got him the link for that so he could go check that out, because you have it, Trevor, right? So
yes. Yeah, the it looks like the scanner at the gate. Yes,
yeah, exactly. So he's very excited about that. So shout out to Mike. I also want to shout out to Bill, who Bill and I email fairly frequently. So hi, Bill. And then also Melissa had reached out to us too to help us with our social media. So thanks, Melissa. We'll talk to you soon about that. So
awesome.
Yeah. So thanks everybody that emails us. We appreciate it. So, and on top of that, on top of giving us reviews and emailing us, don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube Music. So many places you can find us. Just look for us. Look for Welcome Home Podcast.
All the internets.
Yeah, we're on all of the internets, on the interwebs and the intertubes. Yeah. Just use the Googles. Oh man. Okay. Now we're getting way over time here.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Damon's not here to yell at us. So just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, all opinions we express on the show are our own. So please consult a DVC cast member or Disney representative for more information about anything we talked about today. Huge thank you to our sponsor of this episode, DVC Resale Market, and of course, World of DVC, for continuing to support this show. Please check them out. If you want us to continue having a show, you'll need to check them out and say that Welcome Home sent you. Not really, but anyway, join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.